My name is Jennifer Dixon, and I'm here to talk to you today. This is Luna, she's visiting us, about how I learned how to push through with my feet on a vinyasa. Normally, they don't join me like this. So, again, a typical vinyasa in most flow and power and like a Ashtanga class, you're going from high plank to low plank. You push through to up dog, and then you round yourself or you pull yourself back up to downward facing dog. So most often, especially when you're first starting out, you pick up one foot, set it down, then you pick up the other foot and you set it down. And I am here to talk to you not about that, but I want to teach you the next step. So if you are feeling comfortable with your Chaturanga and comfortable with your upward facing dog, which we have tutorials on those, what you can next start to work on is pushing through on your toes. It creates a little bit more strength in the abdomen, makes you be a little stronger in the abdominals, and it also forces your legs to work a little more. Word of warning here, it's a little bit easier to practice this on a not as good of a mat, like a less sticky mat. The stickier the mats, the less your toes want to slide. And then as you get better at it and you're moving and you're progressing into your real mat, which is probably a little less, I guess a little more sticky, it can, long story short, it can like rip the bottoms of your feet off, which is not awesome. Like most of the people that I know that can slide their toes, they suffer from like flappers. In my old climbing days, they used to call those flappers when you'd have like little bits of skin coming off. Ladies, it's just a really good excuse to get a pedicure. Men, just scrape it off when you're in the shower maybe. Okay, so again, we're going to talk about rolling over on your feet. It's really, really, really good for you in your upward facing dog to get that pressure on the tops of the feet. There's lots of therapeutic benefits for your feet to do that. It also creates a whole bunch of strength in the front parts of your legs, into your shins, and even into your ankles and your feet. And so join me today as we talk about pushing through on the feet. Okay, so what we're going to do is, if you have a boxer on your mat, scoot him off. Maybe not. Oof, buddy. Make sure you have enough room on your mat. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a good plank pose. So your arms are, your hands are stacked underneath your shoulders. Your body is one long line of energy. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this with Ruger right here. So you're going to come into your vinyasa, be nice and ready and warmed up. So if you are just really cold, you might want to move through a few stretches with your downward facing dog. I'm just going to move this way. So here we are into high plank. You have to push forward ever so slightly to come to your low plank. In this low plank, instead of picking up one foot, then the other, moving to your upward facing dog, let's talk about, of course he moves now, let's talk about pushing the feet back and using your legs and belly muscles to do just that. So high plank, low plank, push those feet back and land on the tops of the feet. So you can practice this 1 foot at a time, and then ultimately you'll get to 2 feet at a time. You can also practice this like on like I said, a more slippery floor. I don't recommend practicing it on a hardwood floor because it hurts like crazy to do this on the floor. On like you need the cushion, like it hurts the tops of your feet. So here we are, high plank. Push forward ever so slightly to low plank. Push those feet back. Do you see my feet sliding back? And then they roll over. I guess you can't see it with the boxer there. This is hilarious. Okay, this is Ruger, by the way. I wanted to name our next dog Smith and Wesson. I wanted to get 2 dogs and name them Smith and Wesson, and my husband vetoed it, and so instead we came up with Ruger. Okay, so invite your Ruger to leave. High plank. Come forward, low plank. Push those feet back. Roll over on tops of the feet. So I'll do it one more time. Low plank. I'm going to push that left foot back. Push the right foot back. Upward facing dog. Now, if you notice, I'm having to work, that low plank, something fierce in order for that to happen. This is going to build a whole bunch of strength in your shoulders and your biceps, as well as your front body. If you have a friend, a partner that can come up behind you and help you to pull your feet back, so you're pushing back, they're pulling back and helping you set the feet on to the mat, the tops of the feet on the mat, that might help to create a little bit of muscle memory for you at the very beginning. But really and truly, it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. And again, the more slippery the mat, the easier this is. So high plank, low plank, push back, upward facing dog. So I am pushing those feet back like this. There's an active, it's almost like for those of you that are a child of the 80s like me, do you remember the dancing scene from Top Gun where Tom Cruise is sliding around on his socks? You're doing that same sliding action like you would do on hardwoods with your socks, and getting the foot from being on the toes, pushing back, creating space to let those toes roll over to land on the tops of the feet. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed getting to meet Ruger and Luna and their help with us practicing our transitions and our vinyasa today. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate. Leave them down below, and I will be as quick as I can to respond to them. I want to be a resource.